I'm Lisa. I'm with the Hillsborough County Public Library, and I'm joined today by Giancarlo, who is our library expert of the evening on digital home recordings. Giancarlo, go ahead and take it away.
Hey, yeah, I'm Giancarlo. I'm a librarian at the Robert W. Saunders Senior Public Library here in city of Tampa, Florida. And today's topic is digital home recording. That's recording digital audio on your home computer at home. So that's what we're going to get into with this tech topic. Let's go ahead and we're going to, make the cameras go away and get started on this session. All right, here we go. Okay, so there's a little bit of expense involved in doing digital audio recording at home. And so I want to urge everybody to continue the experience by getting hands-on at the library. At multiple library locations, we have these spaces called the Hive, where there's technology things available, including professional tools, professional recording studios. So there are a handful of locations. They are the John F. Germany Library, the C. Blythe Andrews Jr. Public Library, which is actually where I'm recording from right now, their recording studio, the South Shore Regional Library, and the Riverview, the brand new Riverview Public Library. Gorgeous place. Can't recommend that place enough. It's beautiful. And also you can learn more about Hive Recording Studios by visiting the website on screen. All right, let's dive into our content here. Digital home recording. So what we're doing here and what we're talking about is making digital audio recordings using your computer and a combination of software. So in addition to your computer, there will be some hardware that will be required and some software. So those are our two big brackets there for stuff you need to get going. So let's take hardware first. Oh, and I just wanted to mention as we get in here that I'm talking about computer in a broad sense, because this isn't just like a PC at home or an iMac. It could be Mac, PC, tablet, iPhone, iPad, any computer device, basically any device that can receive, process, and store audio data. All right, back to hardware. The first crucial piece for digital audio recording is a USB interface. Okay, it's basically a metal box that is doing the work of taking sound and giving it over to your computer so that your computer can use it. That's what it is. There are some common brands, prominent brands of USB interfaces. Here are a few of them. There's PreSonus, Focusrite, M Audio, and Behringer. Those are some of the common brands. Not a big endorsement on any particular one here for this. They're all pretty good. They are at different price points. For a USB interface, you can get pretty good quality for at or just under $100. So you can get started without a heavy hardware cost. Okay, so that's your USB interfaces. The next thing is a microphone and or a line-in cable. Microphone's pretty self-explanatory. Say you're doing music, you're singing into a microphone. The microphone will then go into the USB interface and so forth. Or you can also use a microphone to, say, record an acoustic guitar. All right. Line-in cable might seem a little bit daunting, but all that is take the example of an electric guitar instrument. That would be a cable that's running from the electric guitar out of that into the USB interface. So you're going to need a microphone or a line-in cable. All right, next bit is your instrument. So let's take the instrument here as an example of an electric guitar. So an electric guitar, that would be an instrument example. And then the next one, which you might not have heard about, is a a controller, okay? A controller looks a lot like a musical instrument, like say a keyboard, but it actually is not a musical instrument. What it is it gives your hands something to actually play that actually the USB interface and the software is making those things like a synthesizer sound or a electric piano or acoustic piano sound. It's a controller. It's basically giving information to the USB interface and to the software and to the computer about notes. There are also other kinds of controllers that look like a bunch of square pads, and what these are is they're for percussion, and you hit the pads and basically it's assigning drum sounds to each square little pad. Okay, so that covers some of the hardware that we're talking about. Next up is the digital audio workstation, the software, also known as a DAW. And right here in a second, we'll see some examples and information about the digital audio workstations. All right, I want to lead this off with some really great news. Most DAWs come free with most interfaces, so you paid for the USB interface, and a lot of times it comes with software that you then download and install onto your computer. So in most cases, this is not an additional cost. If you are a Mac user, an iMac user like myself, GarageBand is free with the purchase of most of your products. I've been using GarageBand since 2003. I love it. It's not a toy. It's a fantastic way to record your music. But maybe your PC. Okay, cool. Audacity is a free open source software that you can use for recording digital audio. And then finally, because I had to list it, are some professional options. This is like for professional recording studios. The price point is much higher, but there are two biggies in this world, and that is Pro Tools and Logic Pro. Logic Pro was designed specifically for Macs, but that is the professional. Those are the professional options. Probably not where you start. If you're taking this class, go ahead and go with the free version that is probably on your USB interface. Okay, well, next up are some tips on doing some recordings. And I've got two brackets for you. I got music recording tips and podcast or spoken word recording tips. There will be some overlap because these two things are still kind of related because we're recording sound. So the first is for music is watch those levels, right? So you've got a volume or gain knob control on your USB controller, and it can be really fun to turn that knob all the way to the right. And you'll see the graphic interface going from green to yellow to orange to red. Well, what you're seeing graphically is that you're putting too much signal there, right? So this can cause distortion. You will hear it, and this is technically known as, it's called clipping, okay? So you wanna watch those levels. If you hear the distortion, try turning down the gain or volume knob on your device. So that's that. Use your best performance, okay? You're doing digital audio at home. You can do infinite takes. You're not paying for recording time. Sometimes people will have this saying like fix in the mix or fix it in the mix. I'm going to advise you against that. You will have effects and editing tools on your digital audio workstation, but it will save you so much frustration to use the best performance and not rely on fixing in the mix. Okay, so use your best performance. Sort of related to this is knowing your DAW limitations. This is because even though it can seem like infinite tracks, it does take somewhat of a workload. You want to keep your best tracks, but you might want to eliminate too many tracks because the digital audio workstation is using a lot of memory, okay, from your computer. You probably also want to close software applications on your computer that are that might be making your software, your recording software, have trouble. Okay. To podcast and spoken word. Watch those levels. It's really the same advice here. You know, you want clear, good sound, but don't turn it up too hard. And you're just listening for distortion. If you hear a distorted, loud, that's the levels too high. Okay. This next one, know your microphone. This also kind of applies to recording music as well. With microphones. There are two main types of microphone out there on the market. We don't have a whole lot of time to go into the specifics of these, but the two are dynamic and condenser microphones. A condenser microphone records really rich, high quality sound. However, it requires what's called phantom power. Now, back to some good news with your USB interfaces. They almost all come with a power supply, power that you can, phantom power that you can activate for a condenser microphone. Good news. A dynamic microphone, on the other hand, does not require phantom power, okay? But there's a big warning here, and this gets to knowing your microphones. Read the packaging on the microphones that you purchase. Find out if they're dynamic versus condenser, because if you're running phantom power on a dynamic microphone, you can damage the microphone. So be aware of what you've got. The last bit of advice for spoken word or podcast is go in script or free form. Script is just like what it sounds like. You're actually writing down your thoughts beforehand and you're reading. Free form is more, you know, you're using your expertise, your knowledge, your intuition, and you're just speaking as you go. So it's a good idea to figure out which one works for you, and I encourage you to experiment. So that's what we have for recording tips. And yeah, I've got one more shout out for you here at the end. And it's something that I personally have made very much use of. It is LinkedIn Learning. Formerly it was called Lynda. It's LinkedIn Learning. It is free to use with your library card. And you can find it in Learning and Research from our website. And basically, these are fantastic tutorials. It is not just GarageBand, but I've watched the GarageBand multiple times and taken that course. It's over 4 hours of learning from a really great instructor. They also have Audacity, which is another DAW where you can learn recording. There is so much on LinkedIn Learning. I cannot recommend it more highly. So after you start getting some hands-on and doing some work, use this resource. Again, it's free with your library card.
All right, we are going to pop back on camera here. We're going to be starting our Q&A up here. If you haven't yet typed in any questions that you have, go ahead and type those in now. We would love to be able to answer those live on the air. Keep in mind, if you're on a mobile device, you're just looking for that little question mark button. But if you're on a hands-free device and you can't type your question out right now, or if you think of something later, just remember you can always follow that up in the survey if you're attending this live, or through our contact page. So let's see if we've got any questions here. All right, it looks like we have, let me pull, all right. Giancarlo, you were mentioning some studios in the initial minutes of the program. So they're asking about our Hive spaces. So could you give a little bit more information on the Hives and how that works if somebody wanted to use it, one of the library studios?
Yeah, so they are Hive recording studios are a lot like our other meeting spaces in that you can book the time by calling either the main line, and they will either their meeting spaces staff will book you, or they'll patch you through to the individual library to book that time. You do need to have a library card to book studio time, and they will give you sort of usually it's the library branch will give you sort of the requirements and overview. And again, on that section of our library website about the Hive spaces, you can get the sort of the technical stuff. I'm jumping over here because I
The
had that.
nitty-gritties of it.
Yeah, I just jumped over to that. It's under services. So if you're just going from the main page of the library website, click on services, scroll down, and you can click on the Hive from there. And it gives you a lot more of the technical stuff. But there is, I mean, to continue to speak on this, there's the recording studio itself, but you can't see the other two walls on this side of me, but there's also video editing and green screen recording. So these two walls on either side of me here are all greened out, and there's these guys are some studio lighting. So you can also do video production and editing as well in the recording studio. So I don't think I had mentioned that earlier, so I wanted
And they
to
do have the bigger, more powerful computers than maybe your home computer might
yeah.
be. Like I know my laptop
Yeah.
can do a lot of the, I can do email, I can surf the web, I can do that sort of thing just fine, but my home laptop just can't handle a lot of the big files that you need for editing videos and music. So the Hive does have those larger computers, but you do need to remember to bring a memory device. Bring a USB storage device to plug
Mhm.
into that so that you can save all of those files. So that's an important thing to remember if you're using one of our devices, to bring something to save it to. A lot of times those files might be too big for most folks if they're using a cloud-based service to save their files. So definitely bring a larger size flash drive or USB hard drive with you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All
But
right,
yeah,
let's see if we have
it's a
any.
wonderful service. Yeah.
Okay, and it looks like our last question of the day is the youths would like to know if they are recording for social media, if they're doing like Instagram videos or TikTok videos, is there anything special that they need to know about doing home recordings for those?
Well, I did a little research on this, and what I found out about TikTok is that you can you can upload your own music, but you do need a third-party software plugin. The one that I was reading about was called InShot Video Editor. It's an application that you could put on usually your phone. Um, and then that sort of works as the in-between uh, from the song, your original song, and the TikTok application. Then basically, once you have InShot on your phone, then you're going to find your song on your phone, and it acts as the intermediary to put that there. Again, not an endorsement for InShot. There's probably other software applications that do it as well. But one thing I also got in my research on this question was it did mention that um, video sharing sites such as TikTok that have a music element are getting more strict about copyrighted material and so forth. So, everybody who's taking this class right now is recording their own original music using their digital audio equipment and so forth. So this wouldn't be an issue, but I did want to mention that because I did see in the research that the TikTok in particular is starting to crack down on sort of rights.
Okay.
Mhm.
We have a quick follow-up from the viewer who was asking about the Hive. They wanted to know if someone will walk them through using the machines in the Hive, using the recording devices.
Well, there is a tutorial that they have there.
I believe there are
Yeah,
orientation
yeah,
sessions for that.
it's an orientation, but it's pretty bare bones. So it's like it's not yeah. So
They'll
what they
show you what connects to what, but it's up to you
yeah.
to really know how to best use it,
Hmm.
right? So that's where the LinkedIn Learning is going to come in for if you
Hmm.
want to prepare before you go into the studio to have a better idea of what you're going to be needing to do while you're there. Check out those LinkedIn Learning tutorials
Hmm.
to really get comfortable with how it's set up and how it works that way. Then once you're in the Hive space getting your orientation, you'll already be familiar with the terminology and the connections.
Yeah, and you know, the branch staff, library staff is really friendly, and if you were just to show up at a library location, they probably are going to have staff available to show you the studio. So if you feel comfortable, if you just like, I want to see it, you know, and then then think about booking it, we love showing off this equipment, so you can kind of see what the actual hardware is.
All right, I think that wraps up all of our questions. Thank you so much to our viewers for asking all those thoughtful questions. It's always great for us to be able to get into a little bit more detail with you. And just remember, stop by any of the Hive locations to get more in person. Check out our tutorials for that. But if you have any follow-up questions after this program, go to hcplc.org/contact. That has all of our information on there, whether you want to chat by phone, text message, email, all of it's right there. Check out hcplc.org/events for all of our upcoming programs. So that'll include more virtual programs like this, including more tech topics, but also coming up, a lot of our summer programs are going to be live. So in addition to our virtual programs, there are a lot of live programs that are in the actual library locations now. So a lot of in-person programming coming back. Check those out. We would love to see you this summer. And then last but not least, if you enjoyed this show and you want to catch up on previous tech topics, hcplc.org/tech topics. That'll give you an overview, and it gives you a link directly to our YouTube playlist that has all of these great videos on there. So that was it for me. I'm so happy to see everyone. We will see you next time.